Hi, I'm Chuck Dorsett for Weaver Leathercraft, and we are creating two gorgeous leather cuffs. Now in Chapter 2, we knocked our pattern together, we cut our leather, and we marked for our round holes. Easy enough. Chapter 3, we simply could punch those holes and move right into die, antique, and finish. But let's do this. Let's do our edge work. We're going to add a groove line, we're going to bevel our edges, round and slick those. We'll knock in a round end punch on our straps, and we'll punch our round holes. This is going to make our projects look very finished, very professional. It's exactly what we're looking for. Now, anything I use in this video, weaverleathercraft.com, or check below. We've got links there that are going to take you straight to our website. You're going to see everything I use, plus more. All right, first step, let's go ahead and punch our round holes. Now, punching our holes sounds easy, and it is easy, but there's a little bit of a trick to it. First off, we're going to be using a 3 to 4 ounce leather. That's pretty thin. So I'm going to jump down to a 1/4 inch double cap rivet. Now, here's the point though. I'm going to use the smallest tube on my revolving punch because I want that rivet to be snug in that hole. First off, that's going to be durable, long lasting. But the second thing, and more importantly to me, is if I have multiple rivets on a project, I don't want those falling out and rolling around. That is very frustrating. So let's go down to the smallest hole. Now, on our main body here, we've got multiple marks. So we need to make sure we only punch our end marks here, because that's for our rivets. The inner marks are for our box. So I'm going to punch all holes here, and I'm going to punch the holes on both ends here. And our last hole, technically not really our last hole there. Let's hold on this because this is for our button stud or Sam Brown. So I'm going to punch one end for our rivet. But let's leave that second in because we've got to do a little bit extra there. All right, so that's punched and ready to go. Now let's jump over to our 7 to 8 ounce strap. Now, I need to jump up to about my 4th hole. Now, it's not critical again. That's about 1/8 of an inch, but we don't have to be spot on exact because we're going to use a line 24 snap. And I want that throat again a little bit snug there. Perfect, just what I'm looking for. Punch our second hole. Good, that is ready for some edge work. So let's jump over here. We're going to do a groove line and we're going to bevel. Now for our edge work, we've got 2 different weights of leather here. So let's practice right off the bat. First tool we're going to use is an adjustable groover, and these are great. Now I've got mine marked for 1/8 of an inch. That to me is the perfect distance from an edge. Now primary job here is to sink a groove line to drop our chisel in if we're hand sewing, but I like the look so much. It really dresses up my edge, so I use this on almost every edge. All right, so all we have to do here, this is our guide arm, cutting head. I'm going to bump that guide arm against the edge of my leather. I'm going to give this just a little counterclockwise pressure, give or take, and come up about 45 degrees. Easy enough, all right? Let's add one more pass there. Good, that gives us a nice groove line. Now, we want to be cautious. Let's don't add so many groove lines that becomes a tab and tears off. So let's jump over on our main body all the way around, and then on these pieces all the way around on our body, and then just the edges on our straps. And our last groove line on our main body. Okay, grooves everywhere, looks good. Now we're going to jump over to a bevel or an edger. We're going to use 2 different sizes. Now, if you think of bevel glass, that's exactly what we're doing. We're knocking off that hard top corner from the edge of our leather. So, for a 7 to 8, I'm going to use a Master Tools number 2. And our last end. Now, you'll notice too, the backside tends to be a little harder to bevel, but that's okay right there. We're on our way to a nice rounded edge. All right, so let's jump over to our lighter weight leather. Now, we're going to jump down to a number 1 Master Tools edger because that's relatively thin. So what I'm going to do, bevel all 4 sides on my main body and each side on my straps. And our last edge, very nice, clean and professional. Now, again, we're too thin here. This is a 3 to 4 ounce, so we're a little too thin to bevel our backside, but that's no issue. We're going to get a nice round on that. But also, too, at this point, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and clip our corners. Now let's jump over to our punch board. We're going to drop in our round end punches for our straps, and we're going to punch a hole and make a slit for our button stud. Well, our cuffs look great. Could not be happier with the way these are turning out. So let's add a nice detail. 1/2 inch strap, 1/2 inch round end punch. Now, I'm going to put my pinky right at the bottom of that cutting edge so I can feel the end of the strap. Therefore, I can use my pinky to push that tool in. We're going to split the difference between our round hole and the end of our strap. Nice. Now that's exactly what we're looking for. That makes that strap look very finished, very professional. Nice. All right, so those are ready to go. Now, for our Sam Browne or button stud, that's going to have 1/8 of an inch throat on it. In fact, that's just a screw-on, easy enough to add. But what I need is a hole with a small slit so that will sit down on the Sam Browne or button stud easily. Now, I don't want that hole too small or it won't seat, but also too, if it's too big, it won't catch. That's 1/8 of an inch. Now, again, we don't have to be spot on exact there, but let's at least try to get close. So on my revolving punch, I'm going to use the 4th tube up. That's the same tube we used for our line 24 snap. And I'm going to drop that in right on our mark. Now, let's go ahead and drop in 5/8 inch round end because that's a 5/8 inch strap. I'm going to go all the way out there so we have a little extra tab. And then down here, our rivet hole, same as the other straps. Now, this is a trick. What we need is we want our slit away from the end of our strap because our pressure is inside. So I need that away from the outside. So the stress on the button is against that outside edge. So I'm going to take a knife and simply make a small cut about 3/8 of an inch long. And that's all I need. That's going to sit down on that post comfortably. That looks good. Very finished looking. So let's do this. Follow me to chapter 4 and we're going to drop in our basket weave.